4 out.
4 high, and here we go.
Hi everyone, Dash. I think they call me an influencer.
Hi everyone, Carol, ME Manager, Manufacturing Engineering for Paint Shop.
Hi everyone, Kevin Yennis. I'm the Quality Director for Ford Middle East Africa and South Africa.
Morning everybody, I'm Marius Botha. I'm the owner of the FordRangers Everest South Africa group.
Hi everybody, my name is Koos Arnold. My occupation is pensioner. I've got all the time in the world.
So guys, I'm Justin and I'm a motoring journalist.
And I have been invited by Ford South Africa to take part in quite an epic trip. We are driving from the engine plant here in Port Elizabeth, or Quebeja as it is now known, here at the Struendale engine plant. And we are going all the way back to the Pretoria assembly plant in Silverton with a bunch of Rangers and some good Ranger loving people.
Our focus predominantly is engine assembly and component machining.
A hell of a lot of vision systems have been adopted into the facility of late. 100% of the engines get put onto a rig, what we call a cold test. So we don't actually literally fire the engine up, but we do rotate it with a servo motor. And then we've got key sensors, accelerometers that measure certain signatures of that engine.
The objective is to get an engine that leaves this plant that is nothing less than 100%.
We will be loading up some engines onto the back of these pickups, or buckies as we call them here in South Africa, so that we can deliver them to a college where students will be able to work on them, get to know engines, and I think that's pretty cool.
As you make the right turn, you will see we go onto gravel. I want you to engage 4 high, and here we go. Okay, now we are on the dirt road.
My name is Vincent van der Merwe. I'm the Cheetah Meta Population Coordinator for Southern Africa. So basically we have 64 cheetah reserves located across the country and in Malawi, Zambia and Mozambique. And all of these reserves are isolated and fragmented, and most of them are fenced. We realize that there are problems with inbreeding. Then my job is to come in and to bring in new unrelated genetics. And also, if we have overpopulation, we remove surplus cheetahs from certain reserves and relocate them to reserves where the cheetahs are struggling. The most important tool at my disposal is my vehicle. So I practically live out of my vehicle because the 64 reserves are located in all 9 provinces of South Africa, as well as Malawi, Mozambique and Zambia. So some of our relocations are just 2 hours between 2 Eastern Cape reserves. But some of the relocations are up to 55 hours from a Free State reserve up to Malawi, for example. As you can see, we load the cheetahs on the back there. You've got to have a very reliable vehicle to do this work. You don't want to be breaking down in Zimbabwe or in Mozambique. We're very fortunate to have a good relationship with the Ford Wildlife Foundation. I have a lovely 3.2 litre Ford, which gets me much quicker between the reserves. So we move about 45 cheetah per year. That's what's required to prevent inbreeding. It's been an absolute pleasure having this partnership with Ford. And the project's, we're essentially managing the only growing wild cheetah population worldwide.
I joined Ford Ford probably 16 years ago. It was pretty much the time when I joined Ford is when Ford started their full transformation in preparation for the T6. It was a facility transformation as well as a people transformation. And that transformation was about getting our people prepared to be able to build this bucky T6, which was something completely different to the old Ford. And I think you guys will know that from just the capability of the vehicle, new chassis, new body style, new metal stamping, everything absolutely changed on the vehicle. Building that car and sending it to Europe, completely different. So the quality we had to step up tenfold. So our quality standards changed, the way we inspected cars changed, how we had to error-proof cars changed. So it was an incredibly exciting period. The first time that vehicle came off the line, it was, you know, chalk and cheese compared to the old Ford Ranger. Remember the day where our MD came to the plant, and it was a big thing in the paper that said Ford Ranger outsells Toyota in something like 30 years or something like that. Yeah, and the entire plant just went crazy.
Ford today compared to Ford 10 years ago. You cannot believe the difference. And you see it when you walk into the plant. The difference is your people. Your people are the game players. They're the game changers. I can tell you Ford has put so much effort into that. It's just unbelievable. We look at warranty, we look at repairs per thousand, we look at cost per unit, we look at customer satisfaction, we look at all of those things. We measure every single turn of every single bolt on that engine. So we can basically tie it down to every repair, every customer issue that you have, and work it back to understand whether it was a people issue or a process issue.
I think it gives the owner peace of mind to know that there's a cross-reference to each and every thing that you guys are busy with that.
Every single vehicle goes through a quality inspection. There's quality inspection in body shop linked to QLS. That QLS system, you can pull the data back, dating back from 2017, for an example. You will still know who built the vehicle, what time it left that area, and what was the quality, was the issues logged in that vehicle. We currently have a DIP system there that actually takes it's a camera system that has 43 cameras that takes photos of that vehicle, looking at any quality issues. Then it logs it on QLS, and then someone has to work on that. It doesn't flow through without that system. So every vehicle goes past that system. That's how critical we are with regards to quality.
So I started falling in love with the Ranger when it started coming up with the new shapes. A Bakkie was never a young black man's dream car. It was always the fast cars, sedans, or luxuries. The only reason I actually bought a Ford Ranger was the fact that it was the only Bakkie that you can pimp out. And then I went and I bought a double cab. I triple pimped it, you know. I had all the sports lights, I had all the BF Goodrich tires. You know, it was a fashion lifestyle morpher statement. I'm in love because the quality, comfortability of each and every car and the craftsmanship, you feel it. And because of the Ford Rangers, actually my life has changed. That I never used to do the bush, you know. It wasn't kind of like our thing, you know, as black people to go to the bush. But because of the car, now I want to go to terrains, I want to go climb mountains, I want to go and experience, because I see what this car is capable of.
Now, so my Ford experience actually starts from long ago. My granddad had an old Ford Ranchero, the V8, like I don't even know, 1970 something Ford Ranchero, and then they had a Ford Fairlane. Yeah, I was always in those cars, and then I became a motoring journalist. I was in it for like the R8s and the you know, the fast cars and whatever, and these were buckies because everything beforehand was a workhorse. You know, they weren't luxury things. I mean, the older Fords and the Toyotas and all that, they had those handbrakes that you pulled up from the dashboard, and then you could never get it yet, you twist it and get it done again, you know. And then all of a sudden this new Ranger came out, and it was very different on the inside. It was very SUV-like, it was very car-like, and I kind of think of it as, if you look at the bucky segment before that Ranger, it's a pond. And that Ranger was that stone that was thrown in and that ripple effect. And guys were starting to drive them differently, and people were buying them for different reasons. Like you said, you bought them, but you never bought it to load stuff on the back or do anything. You bought it because
it wasn't a bucky.
Yeah, it wasn't a bucky.
It was a lifestyle.
Exactly.
More than anything.
I cannot explain to you how keen I am to see what the next Ranger is going to have to offer.
I bought my first Ford Ranger. It was a 1.8 petrol. I think it was 2000. It was a second-hand model. I drove to Johannesburg, I drove to Durban, I drove to Cape Town, and this thing never stopped. And he sold me the mine spec Ford Ranger XL Plus. Still driving it. 2.2. And what a vehicle this was. That has been up to now. So that's my story. I'm still driving the same XL Plus. It's a little bit, where is he? Pumped? I like that word that he used, pumped. And I will trade it for nothing. However, today I got into this FX4, and it's a 10-speed automatic box. I've got the crank handle, I call it. But after today's little trip I did, I don't know. I don't know so much anymore if I would like this crank handle or not. And my story from Ford Ranger started long ago. I don't think it's going to end very soon.
I'm from the wild days in South Africa. I'm a baby in the 60s. So there was no Toyota. There was only Chef and Ford. And my dad was a Chef guy. Eventually I ended up in the police. And they given me probably the last Ford F100 in the police force at that stage. And I used that, and I just fell in love with this 6-cylinder. One day I saw an ad. There's a new Ford on the market. And I took it for a test drive, and this thing was just the ride, the power. I mean, there was real decent control, and traction control that you can switch on and off, and the dial switch for the 4x4, you know, everything was just wow, and trailer sway control. I just looked through all the specs, and I was, and the price wasn't that bad, but there was a waiting list. I said, but this is a blue one. I don't want the blue one. They said, well, about 3 months, then you can have your white one. I said, no, I'll take the blue one. And then, well, I said to that, I've pumped it, like you can't believe. There's about 200,000 rands worth of extras on that car. I'm a Ford fanatic now. I will not change. I can't wait for the new one.